crafters, it's Maymay, and today we are redoing a huge wreath. This wreath is so big that my production assistant, and his name is Joseph, can you say hello?
Hey.
Had to help me rig up a contraption. You would not believe how we have this camera. It is hilarious, but it works. Anything for the shot, right?
Well, since we used a lot of duct tape, so yeah.
There's a lot of duct tape in this shot. Okay, maybe we'll put a picture in. Should we put a picture in of how it looks?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like snap a picture? Okay, it's Sunday afternoon at home, so you're probably going to hear some noises because there's people going everywhere behind us, but we are going to get started. This wreath is one that my stepmother found at a yard sale, she tells me, and she wanted to turn it into a fall wreath for our homecoming at church. And I think this won't be too big a deal, but these flowers here have to go. They have seen their day. Look, this one's even broken and like, oh, it's actually broken. So these are some really old flowers, and typically I would take these off and reuse them, but this one looks like it's had a lot of sun damage, and I'm just not even going to try to save these flowers because they're just in really poor shape. And they're not even staying on this wreath. So I'm going to remove all the flowers. And okay, so this wreath is at least 24 inches around because it's on my tile floor and I measure it with tiles. And I think my tiles are 12 by 12. So it's at least 24 inches. It's a big wreath. It's too big for me to film on a table. That's why we had to get creative here on the floor. Okay, so here's everything out of the middle. Now, like I said, this stuff is really damaged, so I'm not going to save this. So don't feel bad about that. When you're done with something, you're done with something. But I'm going to redo the wreath, so we're good. These flowers are so sun damaged, they have to go. Now, I will tell you this. If you were going to put flowers on something and then paint them one solid color, maybe you were looking for some texture for a project, you could paint these and get away with using these again, but they're not my style, so we're going to toss them. Let me show you what is my style. Look at these beauties. I have a bunch of them. Ooh, throw them in there. Okay, Joe's still helping me. Such a production assistant. You're so good. Okay, here's a big old flower that I got from somewhere. This wreath makes everything look small, which is really important to know. The bigger the wreath, the bigger the flower needs to be if you don't want to have to buy too much stuff. The smaller the flower, the more you have to have. Look at these guys. They're from the Dollar Tree. And look at the sparkle. Love that. So I have a couple of those. There's that one. Do I have another one? No. These guys are from the Dollar Tree, and these are some leftovers from a project. So is this one here. Let me get to it. These are leftovers from a project. I don't remember, but they are leftovers, so we're going to use them. All this is really leftovers. These are from some project at some point in time. And then these are from something I don't remember. And then this is from the Dollar Tree. And here's the thing about these flowers that's really important for you to know. When I finish a project, if I have a lot left over, I have a big trash bin in my... It's not a big one. I have like a 13-gallon trash bin in my craft room. And when I finish a project, I take all the flowers and stick them in there like it's a big old vase. So when I need flowers for a project, I can just go in there and get them out. And you'll be surprised how many you'll collect by doing that. So don't throw away the singles or the little pieces of things that you have. Just find a place to put them, and then time for the next project, you got them. All right, what are we going to do? We're going to take these off of the stem like we always do. We're going to start by just removing these from their base. You have a couple of ways to do it. The wiggle method, that's one way to do it. Or you can use a little, what are they called? Snips, little pliers. I don't have any with me right now, so we're going to do the wiggle method, and I'm going to let Joe help me wiggle. Wiggle, dude. All right, so we're going to take all these flowers off, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we have all of our flowers done. They're all released. I've taken all the price tags off. And now you see I have these ribbons in the middle. The idea is that I may or may not use these colored ribbons, but if I need some filler, I'm going to show you something I do to kind of fill things up if I need it. But I'm probably going to make a bow out of this. And I wasn't sure, but I do have this left over. All this is from my stash, so I didn't buy anything. Like I said, this wreath was from a yard sale, and all this is already in my stash. So I may make a pretty bow. We'll see. We'll see how that works. Okay, for the bow, I'm going to take this burlap, and I'm going to stretch it out about 10 inches. And this will be the bottom loop. Okay, then I'm just going to take the back, that won't be the bottom loop, that'll be the tail, sorry about that. This will be the loop. Make the loop as big as you want it or as small, and then scrunch the ribbon here. So you see how I'm holding it like this? Let me turn it over, you can see it's between my fingers like that, okay? Now I'm going to bring this ribbon to the back and make this loop the same size and scrunch it up, and then bring it to the other scrunch. Everything's scrunched in the middle. Then this will create the tail on the other side of the bow. Very easy. I'm going to cut this tail off. Alright, and then I'm going to take this piece of floral wire, run through the middle, catching all of those little gathers in the middle, and just twist. really tight. Okay, and just lay that down out of the way. And now we have a nice floppy bow, which is really what I wanted. I'm going to lay it down for you. I really wanted it to be nice and floppy. Now I'm not going to attach it yet because I have an idea of where it's going, and I want to use these guys to give direction, to give kind of some shape on this wreath. And I want them to run kind of up this way, like so, and then kind of this way, to kind of give me like a point where I have some growing upwards and some growing at an angle coming down. And so our focal point will be here. Let's see if this makes sense. So if I'll have the bow kind of in this area where the tails will hang, and then the flowers are going to kind of work in a shape like that. Hope that makes sense. I think it does. Okay. Now I'm going to start by laying these in and gluing them down. Notice I didn't take the stem off. I broke them as far out as I could. The reason for that is I want to put hot glue on them, and then I want to kind of feed them into the wreath with the hot glue, and wherever they touch, I'll put another little dab of hot glue. So let's do that. Alright, so I will put hot glue on the stem. I'm going to feed it into the wreath. Just let it go where it goes. Remember, these are on wire, so they can be shaped at any time. Then wherever this touches, I want to put a little more glue, and then just lay this into it and let that catch. Same thing on this side. Glue on the end. Look at it just feeding out.
And all I can see is your blue gun is covered in glue.
Because it just feeds out. Then I'm going to feed this into the wreath and let that glue catch somewhere. And then just let that kind of grow up in that area. So basically we're kind of cutting the distance here. Alright, and then I think this one, I like the way this one kind of angles. I'm going to move these so you can see. I like the way this one kind of goes in this angle, so I just want to look and see where I want to feed it. Okay, so somewhere in here. And just let that lay in this area. Another thing you can do is you can take one of these flowers and wrap it in one of the little grapevines, and that kind of locks it in place too. Alright, let's do another one this way. I want one to go kind of at that angle there. Okay, feed this one in. And I'm going to go ahead and get them all laying in, and then I'll go in here and secure them and make sure they stay in place. Just kind of looking where I'm going to put it. Kind of here. If I didn't have the worst glue gun ever made, I would bring it into the camera so you could see it, but it is dripping everywhere. So we're just going to hot glue them off the camera. Now it's even on my floor. Now I think I'm going to have one and kind of just go underneath these I put in earlier and see if I can't wrap one that goes out. It's kind of making like an L shape. Can you see that? It's kind of going this way and then this way, but I like that. Because I like the organic look of it to kind of grow off. So one thing you want to do is just lay the flower in and see where you want it. If you don't like it, move it around till you find the spot you like it, and just kind of keep a mental note of, hey, I want it to go in this area, and then install it. Last piece of this, I really like it here. This is another thing. See how this one is bent? Instead of trying to put it in this way, and unless you want it to go that way, which is fine, I want mine to lay this way. Work with the bend of your flowers that already exists. I mean, you can sometimes get in there and work that wire and get it to go well, but if you don't have to and you can work with what's already there, it's so much easier. Now let's bring that bow back over. And it's going to be again in this area. Something like this. Okay? So the top of my wreath is going to be there. That'll be the top. Isn't that pretty so far? I like it like that, but we're going to keep going. We got to put some color in there. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit you. I hit my production assistant. Okay, so this bow is going to be a focal point, and I have only one of these flowers. So I think I'm going to make it the center of this bow, just because I only have one of them. That'll make it kind of a focal point too. So I'm going to put that aside. But I have all of these flowers that we separated off, and it's time to start adding these for color. Now, I don't know if I'm going to like all of these flowers in here, but I think I will. I really, really like these white flowers. I probably could stop there, but I want some color for this season. So I'm just going to kind of look at them. I think they look good. So, see which ones look the best. These colors look really nice because they're very nice and muted. I may end up only using the muted colors and not the glittery ones, and that would be fine too. Let me pull the glittery ones out, and we'll look at them at the last, because if I want to pop, I can do that. And these that are animal print really look good with that, so I'm going to keep those in the mix. Okay, so I separated out all the bright colors, and it leaves me with these. And it doesn't look like a lot, but you'll probably be surprised how far it will go. Alright, I'm just going to start adding these in. I know it's off camera and you can't see it, but all I did was add some hot glue to the stem, and I'm just going to feed it in there just like I did the others. Now the cool thing is, if you don't want this flower facing this way, grab the wire and just turn the wire and put it where you want it. If you want it to stand up more, if you want it to be more obvious, just use that wire to your advantage. Now I put one here, I'm going to go over here and balance it. That's the trick. You have one here, balance one here. And I will tell you that nowadays, you don't even have to balance things like you used to. I like the look of the balance. I like to have something here and then something here that mimics it. But nowadays you could do a whole different arrangement here than here, and it still works. I don't know, it's just different. I'm going to use one of these animal print flowers. See where I want to put it, where I want it to land. And somewhere here. One thing I did to this was I cut the stem shorter because I didn't need all that, and I don't want to have to fight with feeding it through. So you can always do that too. If the stem is really long and it seems like it's really hard to find a home for it, just cut it shorter. Oh, I like that piece there a lot. Now I want to balance this over here because I want to be sure that I have them everywhere, okay? So if I put one over here, I'm going to put one over here. All right then. Now I'm going to come up this way some. And because I have the orange here, I'm going to go back to the animal colored there. Just feed this in. And remember, it doesn't matter that it's facing that way because I can always grab that wire and put it where I want it. And see how I went here and moved this one? I want to tell you why. This one was facing and it kind of made a circle. But I want to move it some so I don't get that circle. And that's the beauty of not gluing it straight to the wreath, but having that stem, I can move it around. Okay, so now I have 3 flowers on this side, 3 flowers on this side. I did put another pop of color here. So now I think I'm going to bring this one and kind of let it go low so it'll be right here where this bow is. I'm going to cut some of that stem off. I don't need it. Let me turn this back to where that's the top, okay? So like I said, we're working long and we're working tall here. All right, so I'm gonna turn it where I can get to it again, and I have only a few left, so I'm gonna look at these. I have one animal print left, and I think I'll put it maybe here in this area. I have a few more with color, so I'll be able to fill in other places. So I'm just gonna go through and just pop flowers in, just filling in where I feel like they need to go. And I'll let you watch me do that kind of in fast motion, and you don't have to listen to me do the whole thing. Some of these little cattails, and I think they'll be cute. I have 4 of them, which I'll be able to put 2 on this side and 2 on the other side, and I think it's going to work. So this one doesn't have any grass on it. I'm going to put it kind of close to the bow. Then this one, I want it to extend that feel of this loose organic, so I'm going to put it in this area. Then I'm just going to do these other 2 on the other side. Now I'm just playing with the placement for this bow, and I kind of like it here. Kind of gives me the feel that those flowers come out of that side and these come out of this side, so I'm going to glue it down. Remember I saved this flower for the center of it? I just pulled the stem out, I'll put glue here and stick it down. Now remember I told you I'd go back and look at these and see what I thought? I'm going to stick it in here and let you look at it. I just don't think it goes with this. It's so bright and so sparkly that I think it goes with another project, and this is not the one. But I still was able to use all of those flowers from my stash. So all of that was just stuff I had. And like I said, the way to collect it is just find a spot, and when you finish a project, that's where you should put it. It's in that spot for the next time. So there's the wreath, and you'll be able to see it really good in pictures, I think, but it'll hang like this, so you'll be seeing this bow straight across, and so this goes this way, this goes this way. But it's a nice change for the wreath, so it gets a new life. Let's bring it all in for you. So now it has a new life, from a yard sale find to a beautiful new fall wreath. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and my little production assistant today. I appreciate his help, and I will talk to you guys on Wednesday with another craft. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.